Are you getting trigger happy or are you being decisive? When you run a business and you get triggered out on people, that's a sign of trauma. This is Doc Spencer Coaches. Today I'm going to talk to you about trauma and being a business leader. Now, I'm talking about this because if you find yourself being indecisive, hesitating, and procrastinating, that's a sign of trauma. If you feel overwhelmed all of the time, and when you have a client, customer, or coworker just suggest something and it stresses you out where you feel so overwhelmed, that's because your nervous system is already overloaded. And that's what happens with trauma. When you have trauma, you're going to be hypervigilant. Those emotional wounds aren't resolved, and it puts you in this sense of hypervigilance where you're always looking out for yourself. You're always looking for danger, scanning the room for danger. There's a hyper alertness. And that puts your system, you're stressed all of the time, essentially. You're sympathetic overload. So your stress bucket gets filled very easily. And if you have more responsibilities placed on you, you flip out on people. Or you just feel like you're going crazy because your nervous system is in overdrive. And that's what happens because I have PTSD and CPTSD, and it took me decades to really heal myself. And in the past, I was able to handle stressful situations. I would put myself through pretty stressful situations to strengthen my nerves, if you will, to stay hyper-focused, and that's what got me through a lot. But it didn't create any sense of fulfillment. I couldn't relax. And you'll see this in some people. They're always high-strung, especially in business, the manager especially. If you're the entrepreneur, you're the owner, you're going to be managing your business at first. And if somebody makes a suggestion like, hey, you should try social media marketing, and it offends you, if you're getting offended like that, or like, oh my God, now I got to think about this. If you're reacting like that, that's a sign of trauma. It means you have unresolved emotions. And those emotions are causing an upset. Because they're right at the surface, they're causing you to be hypervigilant, they're causing you to scan the room for danger when there is no danger, and then you never feel safe. You can never relax. So your nervous system also wants to relax, and it just can't because it's stuck on processing these old emotions. That's how trauma impacts your present time. There's something that happened to you in childhood that needs to be looked at. Whether it was you're deeply offended, whether it was you failed majorly, or whether you suffered from abuse of some kind, whether it's physical, psychological, or sexual, it impacts your behavior. It will cause you to get upset easily. It will cause you to be suspicious. It will cause you to hesitate because you want so much certainty. Basically, you're searching for safety. You want a safe, successful outcome. And you just can't contemplate it because your mind is in overdrive. You know what they say, don't make a decision when you're stressed out. Well, imagine being stressed all the time, but kind of a low-level stressed out because it's the hypervigilance. Now you add in an 80-hour work week because you're running your own business and people are demanding. They seem like they're demanding, at least, when they're not demanding. They're just asking you to do your job, essentially. You're the business owner. You made a phone call, follow through with it. Or you committed to showing up at a certain time, or you committed to excellent customer service. Now you have a customer who's upset and you can't deal with them. It triggers you and you get upset with them. You see what I mean? This is what happens when you have trauma. So you need to really resolve these emotions. You need to go back and look at exactly when you failed, when did the abuse happen, what did it make you feel like? Now, most likely you're dealing with guilt. If you adapted to the trauma, you got angry and fought back, you're going to be an angry person. You're going to kind of be very controlling, almost a narcissist, have narcissistic tendencies. Now, if you froze during that time period, you're going to feel a sense of abandonment, a fear of abandonment, and a sense of you're going to shut your emotions down. You're going to be numb, and you're going to go into analytical mode. You're going to analysis paralysis. You're going to analyze everything out of the wazoo and never stop analyzing because you're searching for a safe solution. But you can't because it's really an emotional thing. It's not a mental thing. And you're blocking your own feelings out. There's also the fawn response where you're basically going to kiss everybody's ass. You're a people pleaser because that's how you survive the trauma. And then, the running away, you become somewhat of a coward. You run away from things. You're shy away from things. You don't take chances. You don't take risks. You want things to be comfortable all of the time, and when there never can be. And those are the four major responses to trauma, the four impact of trauma as well, because the emotional side is associated with the different types of flight or fight response: flight, fight, freeze, or fawn. So depending on which response you had when you're a child will determine your personality. So right off the bat, you can determine whether it's an abandonment issue, whether it's you fight back, but you fight back too much, you become aggressive and controlling. You learn to please because you had to please your abuser, so then you become a people pleaser. Or you froze because you just couldn't run away, you couldn't escape the situation, so you numbed out. You kind of disassociated, left your body, and now you're just kind of watching everything but never really engaging anything. So when people engage you, you might have a glazed look in your eyes. But either way, your nervous system is hardwired to protect yourself. And when you get into overwhelm, it's going to go into overdrive. You're going to be in hypervigilant either way, whether you're frozen or you're going to be frozen, but really looking around, or you're going to be people pleasing, but nervous all the time, have this angst about you, or you're going to be arguing with people because you feel afraid, or you're going to be shy away from things because you feel afraid. You're dealing with the emotion of fear. At the bottom of all this, the anger, rage, fear, guilt, and shame, the despair, the agony, the terror. It's the fear that's at the root of all of it. And courage is the way to overcome fear. Now, easier to talk about than to actually process these emotions. What helped me process these emotions is Buddhist meditation and yoga. Yoga, you're stretching your body. You're actually releasing a lot of repressed emotions in the yoga classes because it accesses and taps into your subconscious mind and releases this stuff. Now, the Vipassana meditation, I went on Goenka's 11-day meditation retreat. Some of you may be familiar with this. You sit in meditation, but Buddhist meditation is an in-body experience. You meditate on your sensations. And these two techniques have helped me process my emotions. So when they're done, even if I feel overwhelmed, I can just sit with the feeling and understand that it's just a feeling. I don't have to be ruled by it. And I can take a break. Hey, look, I've got a lot on my plate right now. Let me get back to you on that because I just need to handle some things before I can answer you. So you have emotional intelligence. Ultimately, you're looking to create emotional intelligence. When you understand what triggers you, you can better respond more effectively, not only to yourself, meaning how you manage your emotions, but also to other people who are engaging you. And this way, you don't come across as a hothead. You don't come across as a flake. You don't come across as a controlling, domineering person. And you don't come across as a coward. So you can actually think rationally, think clearly, be decisive, and not hesitate because you understand, you read the scope of the environment, you read the situation. When opportunity knocks, you take it, without hesitation. So that being said, easier said than done. If you find yourself getting triggered, try this technique. Now, it doesn't work for everybody. It worked for me. There is no one technique that works for everybody. Maybe you need to talk to a psychologist, a counselor. I'm a trauma-informed business coach. My goal is to help, free up your time so you can have a 3-day work week. But also, the mindset portion of my coaching gets into this because your leadership is most important. Staying focused. The biggest difference between a highly successful person and, say, an average person is their ability to stay focused. It's just commitment after commitment after commitment, and following through with commitment. That's it. Easier said than done. Yes, I know. But that is what being hyper-focused is. And every very major successful, like Paula Abdul, actually this is what Paula Abdul said. She said, the only difference between me and some other people is I'm just hyper-focused. I decide to get on to do something and I do it. And I just don't do anything else. I'm purely focused on what I need to do. And that's all I do. I cut out everything else out of my life. And that's the secret. Now, also developing a sense of equanimity, not being reactive to things, even keeled, attracts money to you. That is the abundance mindset, is equanimity. When you see all things equal, you're not above, you're not below. You're actually very open-minded. You meet highly successful business people. They're very open-minded. They're non-judgmental. They're very appreciative. And they're very present. They're very clear. You can see it in their eyes. They're just right there because they're focused. It's not a matter of applying this technique, chasing after that tactic and this strategy. It's really your mindset. Cultivating equanimity, cultivating gratitude, and cultivating clarity and focus is what's going to get you to the next level in your business. So go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me find out what you're going through and what you're experiencing and how you stay focused and how you deal with stress. I'd like to get to know my audience and see what's going on in your lives. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well. I would love to know more people and to see what challenges you and give some suggestions as to what you want to know about, what you want to hear. Now, the mindset behind it all is really the secret to business. The more than the tactics and strategy, believe it or not. Now, I teach a lot of tactics and strategy because you want a grounding result. You want tangible results, and that's what gives it. But over time, it's your mindset that's going to get you to the next level. And if you have trauma in your history, it's going to affect your mindset. It's going to confuse you. It's going to cause a lapse of judgment, if you will. And these emotions need to be processed. Otherwise, they're going to follow you around wherever you go. You're going to recreate them, and you're going to have problems with clients and your employees, your team, your business partner, whoever it is. You're going to have problems with people, especially, and problems being responsible. In other words, following through with commitments. And some of you may be experiencing this and wondering, why do I keep doing this over and over? I don't know. It's because you have trauma. Now, the way to deal with this and to get familiar with this is start creating a journal. When you bring things to the conscious mind, it helps give you a sense of you got control over it, and it doesn't control you. So write a journal about how you're feeling day to day, what's happening, what's challenging you, and your response to it. I got angry, I got upset, and then start to look for the pattern. And then read through a month's worth of journal, and then you'll notice a pattern, an emotional reaction, or a certain state of mind, or a certain thought process that keeps showing up. And that's the pattern that's haunting you. And you can look at that pattern, and there's ways of getting rid of that. I'll teach that to you in my coaching program. There's ways of getting rid of that so you can redefine yourself, get in tune with what's really important to you, what really matters to your core values, and then get refocused. And practicing focusing techniques, whether it is focusing on your breath, whether it's focusing on a candle, whether it's focusing on a sound, whether it's focusing on action, you learn to focus your mind and you stay calm in the midst of the storm. No matter how chaotic it is, no matter what people are throwing at you, how demanding they are, how much work you have to do, you maintain your mind, you maintain a sense of calmness. Now, it doesn't mean you're repressing your emotions. You got to be honest with how you feel. And the emotional intelligence, emotional awareness. Believe it or not, people with emotional intelligence, a high EQ, tend to make about $20,000 to $30,000 more per year because of their ability to get along with people, their ability to read the landscape, to read other people, to be able to respond effectively, respectfully, cordially, friendly, without becoming offensive, without taking things personally. Because when you feel like a victim, you're going to get offended easily. And when you're offended easily, you're going to start blaming people. Nobody likes to do business with someone who's blaming them for their problems. Or be a part of a team where you're blaming your team when it's really you. So this is going to impact your ability to lead your company, to lead the people, to interact with customers and clients. It's very important to look at and not skip over. So many programs only look at tactics and strategy. You need to look at your mindset. Mindset, your paradigm is more important than anything else. This is Dr. Spencer Coaches. I sure hope that helps. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click on the link below. You're going to get a complimentary business assessment as well as a free vacation to a select few choices. And you're going to get a high-performance nutrition plan so you can stay even-keeled. It's going to help manage your emotions. Let me grow scale in your business so you can work 3 days a week in my 3-day work business plan. This is Dr. Spencer Coaches. Thank you so much for listening.